Ellis was a quiet teenager. He felt lost in the noise of the world. School hallways felt like rushing rivers. The school library was his haven, a quiet harbor. He loved old books, their scent, their texture, their stories. They whispered of times gone by. One day, Ellis found something extraordinary. It was tucked within the pages of a weathered tome, a single thread, shimmering with an ethereal glow. It seemed to pulse with a life of its own, a silent invitation from the unknown. Ellis hesitantly reached out. His fingers brushed against its radiant surface. The thread unfurled, extending towards him as if beckoning. He felt a strange pull, a magnetic connection to the glowing thread. He didn't understand its purpose, but something in his heart urged him forward. Trusting his instincts, Ellis took hold of the thread. The world around him dissolved into a whirlwind of colors. He closed his eyes, bracing himself for the unknown. When Ellis opened his eyes, he was in a place unlike any he had ever seen. Gone were the familiar walls of the library. In their place was an endless expanse of shimmering energy. It pulsed and throbbed with a life force he could feel in his bones. He was surrounded by an intricate tapestry of glowing threads. They intertwined and danced, weaving a symphony of light and color. He realized he was standing within the Loom. Here, destiny was spun, and lives were interconnected. The air hummed with unseen energy. It flowed through the threads, electrifying the very fabric of this extraordinary realm. Ellis realized these threads represented people's lives. He could sense their joys, their sorrows, their dreams. He watched in awe as vibrant threads intertwined, representing connections forged and bonds cherished. But some threads were tangled, knotted, reflecting struggles and pain. This was a place of profound interconnectedness. Section 5. A Symphony of Threads. As Ellis ventured deeper into the Loom, he discovered he could manipulate the threads. With a gentle touch, he could untangle knots, easing burdens and mending broken connections in the real world. He saw a tangled knot of threads representing a struggling artist. A gentle push, and the knot loosened. Inspiration bloomed. In the real world, the artist picked up his brush, his heart filled with renewed purpose. Section 6. Untangling Fate. Every action, every choice, created ripples through the threads of the Loom. Ellis spent his days meticulously working on the luminous strands. He untangled knots, mended breaks, and fostered connections. He saw the impact of his actions mirrored in the real world. A student struggling with confidence aced her presentation. A lonely elderly man found companionship. Ellis was making a difference. Section 7. A Tapestry of Choices. But the Loom was a delicate ecosystem. Ellis learned that interfering too much could have unintended consequences. When he tried to force two threads together, chaos erupted. The Loom trembled, and the threads became a tangled mess. He realized free will was essential. He could guide, he could mend, but he couldn't control. Each individual had to find their own way, make their own choices. This was the delicate balance of life. Section 8. Echoes of Change. With a newfound understanding, Ellis continued his work, his touch becoming gentler, his actions more measured. He focused on untangling the most knotted threads, offering a spark of hope to those lost in despair. He witnessed the ripple effect of his efforts. Small acts of kindness multiplied, hope blossomed in unexpected places. Ellis learned that even the smallest thread could carry immense power. Section 9. The Weight of Threads. The weight of responsibility was immense. Ellis often felt overwhelmed by the sheer vastness of the Loom and the countless lives it held. But then he would see a thread untangle, a life rekindled. He would remember the purpose of his gift. He was meant to mend, to heal, to connect. He was a guardian of destinies, a silent observer of life's intricate tapestry. Section 10. A World Rewoven. As Ellis continued his work in the Loom, he noticed a change within himself. The once shy, withdrawn teenager was gone. He was more confident, more connected to the world around him. He no longer felt lost in the noise. He saw the beauty in the connections, the strength in the individual threads that made up the grand tapestry of life. He had found his purpose. Section 11. Threads of Self-Discovery. Ellis realized his journey in the loom wasn't just about helping others. It was about discovering himself. Through mending others' threads, he was weaving his own destiny. He was finding his place in the world. He had discovered a strength he never knew he possessed. He had embraced the interconnectedness of life, understanding that even the smallest actions could have profound consequences. He was no longer just Ellis. He was the weaver. Section 12. A legacy woven in stars. The loom had become his sanctuary, a place of wonder and purpose. He knew his journey was far from over. There would always be threads to mend, connections to foster, stories to be woven into the fabric of existence. But Ellis was ready. Armed with compassion and a newfound understanding of the threads that bind us all, he embraced his destiny as the weaver, a silent guardian of destinies, his legacy forever woven into the fabric of the loom.